welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. Heart to heart, sometimes you are the reason that you're single. I know a lot of us women especially get tired of hearing, well, maybe it's something that you need to be working on, that's why you're still single. Or maybe you're too picky, or you're not available enough, or you just don't get out enough, so it's your fault that you're single. Well, sometimes you are the reason that you are single, but then sometimes God is the reason why you're single. I don't want you to think that even if you are single because of your choice, that there's anything wrong with that. You may be frustrated, you may be annoyed, and a part of that comes from society. You know, people try to ask you what's wrong with you, why are you still single at a certain age, or why has it been so long since your last relationship, and it starts to kind of wear on you. We're human, I get that, I go through it too, but the truth of the matter is, it doesn't really matter if it's not being sent from God anyway. You can go jump in a relationship, but if you want God's best for you, then you have to wait on God. And a lot of times, God takes a long time. Because it's not only you he has to prepare to be a spouse, but he has to prepare your partner, the one that he ultimately wants you to align with, to be a spouse. Because what good is it if he works on you and you are willing and you're open and you do the work and you're ready to go, but then the person that he feels aligns best with your purpose is still living life wild and free, who doesn't answer to him, who doesn't fear him, none of that. He's just living because he hasn't found his purpose, hasn't found the reason that he should be in a relationship. He's enjoying life. I mean, there's so many other reasons, and maybe he's just getting over heartbreak. I don't know what it is, but the good news is, as long as you know your reason, don't let nobody drag you down about it. Yeah, sure, you may be single because you may be picky. But if you're praying to God to send you your person, then whose business is it anyway if you're turning people down? Because you will meet a lot of people, but you only need one. There will be a lot of people that want you, but again, you only need one. So, you know, you don't just go for the first thing that comes for you, even if you dated that person. If they wasn't a match, they wasn't a match. And that's okay. Don't let anybody tell you, well, that's the reason why you're never going to have anybody. You're just going to die alone and all this stupid stuff. Because what you pray to God about and what answers he's giving to you is between you and him. None of us can hear it. I could be standing right beside you. You can hear from God, and I can't hear anything that's being told to you from God. You just have to choose to be obedient to it. And if you're not a believer, that's fine too. Your reason could be because of you, and that's fine anyway. That's still fine because you're choosing the people that you want. And you have a right to choose, just like they have a right to choose you. But where it becomes a problem is when you're just stuck on physical things, you know, or monetary things, you know, things that is going to change over time anyway. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a person a good person. It doesn't make them a good husband or a wife for you because you're too busy focusing on things that are going to fade over time. And even if they have money, that doesn't mean that they'll be a good spouse for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you need to be focusing on character. I think it's a dangerous game you're playing, though, if you out here trying to date and trying to find your person without having God in the middle, without being able to talk with God and to get answers from God. But I'm going to just leave that there. That's my belief. And I ain't trying to force nobody to feel uncomfortable or to choose what I believe. But I'm just saying, I feel like it's a dangerous game. It's too much out here in this world. People are crazy. It's just too much. And you need something higher than yourself to guide you. And if you don't have that, you out here walking around blind and just choosing folks just because they look good or they got some money. Like, you may want to think about that. But like I said, if you're not a believer, that's okay. I can't force you to believe. But make sure that you are choosing people, and that the reason that you're turning people away is not because they don't have a good job, or it's not because they don't have a slim, thick body, or because they don't have the perfect skin tone that you like, or their teeth aren't straight, or whatever. Make sure it's not things like that that's very, very superficial, because like I said, things will change, and you can get with the most gorgeous person, they could be dogging you out, or they can get in an accident, and all that can change. Like, it can change. They're going to get older, they'll change. You know, they can gain some weight and change. They can lose weight and change. You know, it's just so many things that can happen to the human body that can change you, can alter you. You're not always going to be this perfect image. You know, of course we would love to be, but realistically, that's not how it is. So if you're out here trying to choose somebody without God, make sure you are tapping into your intuition. You are being wise. You are choosing based off of that person's character, not who you want them to be, their character. But back to my believers, sis, bros, whomever's watching, I'm talking to us all, because it don't really matter. Everybody's out here in the same boat trying to find love in a sea that is slimy and gross. So let's just be real. Let's just keep it real. Like I said, if you know that you are praying to God and you're asking for guidance and direction, but you just keep seeming to be single, or you keep running into people that you really like, but it's just something that's just not right. You know it. Like, your intuition is just like bing, bing, bing. Like, you can't ignore it. It's just so loud because God is talking to you and telling you no. Then be proud of it. Don't allow people to sit out here and tell you, you need to hurry up. Your time clock is ticking. Ain't no woman gonna want you. Your hairline is starting to recede and all. Stop it. Save it for somebody who is desperate. That's desperate talk. And I'm being honest. I mean, of course, if you're just sitting in the bubble and you're waiting for God to send that person to come knock on your door, or you just gonna one day wake up and they're gonna be in your house some kind of way, then you maybe, I ain't gonna lie to you, waiting on the fairy tale that's probably not gonna come true. But there's still hope for you, because there is nothing you can do to stop God's blessings for you. So if God has ordained you to be a spouse, it's going to happen. You can go out to your mailbox and meet your spouse. You can get a phone call and it could be a wrong number, and it can end up being somebody that you connect with, and they can end up being your spouse. Just takes a lot longer because you're not helping God out. You got to help yourself in order for God to step in and help you too. God don't always want to do all the work for you. He gonna meet you halfway, because he needs to know that you are serious. And if you have to work for it, you will appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, in those cases, it could still happen, but you may be waiting for a really, really, really long time. But on the other hand, if you are actually dating, but you just like, these people are just not it. They're not, you know, I'm being open, I'm being fair. I'm not just going off of money. I'm not just going off of body size. I'm not just going off of my preferences. I'm dating whoever God allows me to date, but it's just not happening. Sometimes God is just sending you people to date so then it can open up your mind, open up your horizon, so then you can see what you don't want, so then you're not just settling for a relationship like, oh, it's been 5 years, this has been my first date, you know, I'm finally just going to jump into a relationship, and all this time you've been just sitting around, you could have been working on yourself, but you kept yourself sheltered and didn't work on meeting new people and getting out there. And now because you're so exhausted from the wait, you'll just take the first person. So yeah, God will allow you to go on dates. Yeah, he will. He will allow you to talk to people. He will allow you to meet new people. He will. But that doesn't mean that that's your person. Sometimes he just wants you to see, like I said, he wants you to see the things that you like, the things that you don't like. You learn too when you're in relationships, you learn more about yourself. Relationships, honestly, are really just that. That's why you go into the relationship, the courting phase, and then you make an ultimate decision. A lot of people A lot of people out here waiting too long to make that decision, but you're supposed to make that decision, you know, on is this going to be the person that I marry or not? And you need to jump ship if not. And stop wasting people's time and stop wasting your own time, because the longer you're with the wrong person or the person who is not meant for you, you are going to stay single. And that person that God has for you are people, because I do believe God has multiple soulmates for us. Sometimes he will send you a soulmate, but that soulmate ain't ready, so he will send you somebody else. Come on now. But you sitting waiting on this person that is obviously not working out with that person because it's not meant for y'all to be. You have the people that God has aligned for you waiting. And so when somebody else comes along that is prepared and that is on the same path as you were with them, or you could have been with them, someone who aligns with them and their life purpose, he will send that person off with that other person. Y'all get what I'm saying? God is not going to he's not going to make you suffer because your person isn't ready. You wouldn't want that to happen to you. So if you are in a relationship with somebody or entertaining people that you're not supposed to be because it's not the people for you, and you've been given signs, it's been very clear, but you're still sticking around and holding on, God will allow that person or those people who he was sending your way, but you was just refusing to let the person that you're with or you're dealing with or in a situationship with or whatever, you refuse to let them go. So he lets that person who is healed and ready for marriage and ready to do his or her life purpose with somebody, he would allow them to attach to somebody else. So sometimes, again, that's another reason why you could be the reason that you're single. Who are you entertaining? What are you doing? Or I just talk to this person when I'm bored. I may hook up from time to time to this person. We just friends. I really don't like this person like that, but it's better than being alone. You know, that kind of stuff. You are the reason that you're single. It may feel good that you got somebody, but it's not your person. It's not the person that God has destined to be in your life. So you're wasting so much time and you're allowing the people that could have been a good match for you to pass you up, because God is not going to make them suffer because of your disobedience and because you are choosing to go your own way and you're not listening to him. So that could be another reason. Another reason could be that you are listening to God and you're refusing to do anything outside of what God is telling you. You could really, really like that person, but you can be like, you know what? God is telling me no. And so you let it go. Because of your obedience, you may be single for a lot longer, but the wait is going to be so much more worth it than if you were to just be like, I like this person. They're nice to me. They're attractive. They're ready for marriage. I'm ready for marriage. I'm just going to do it. I'm not waiting no more, God. I've waited all this time and you keep sending me people who are not it. I finally meet somebody that I feel like we can get along with each other. We laugh, we talk, we can do everything. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then you find out later on that that person ends up turning into somebody else. That person could end up being, mistreating you. Later on, that person could end up being an alcoholic. That person could end up being a cheater. Like, you don't know why God is saying no. And that's really none of your business. You don't want to wait around and be like, God, why are you saying no? I've done that plenty of times. And let's just say, like I said, you don't want to, if God say no, let him say no. And you don't want to question him. He's a good father. He loves you. And if you are too ignorant or too rebellious to accept that kind of love, you're setting yourself up for failure, because you only can see what that person shows you. You could have been talking to this person for a couple of years and, oh, they're so sweet, they're so nice, everything is great, but God could have better. That could be a good person. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that just because it didn't work that person's bad. No, there's going to be a lot of good people you have to pass up because they're somebody else's. They're not yours. God still has better for you, or he has someone who is better aligned with where he's taking you. So that could be a reason why you're single is because you're choosing to be obedient to God. And even though it makes no sense to nobody else, oh girl, you just had this nice fine man, you know, what's going on? He was paying all your bills, he was doing this, he was doing that, he wasn't cheating, he wasn't lying. Why'd you let him go? Man, you gonna let her go? She's such a good woman. She's, you know, she ain't got no kids. She's bad. She is everything. And you sitting there scratching your head too, like, I feel kind of dumb for letting this person go, but I feel it in my heart that God said this ain't it. And so your obedience, and you will know if it's obedience. You will know because he will give you signs to let you know, like, okay, yeah, I made the right decision. You will, I promise you. It's the craziest thing because they could be amazing people, but God will still tell you no. But he will give you peace about it because he's going to show you why he said no to an extent. So like I said, the ultimate things, sometimes he'll show you. Most of the time you're going to be too focused on living life and doing the things for his kingdom. You're not going to be worried about what's going on in their life. When you get past that pain, you're not going to care no more. You're going to love them from a distance, wish them well, because that's what God wants you to do. Don't be over here wishing ill on them because that's going to come back to you. So make sure you're wishing them well, you're minding your business. Whatever they do is not your concern, and you move on with your life. God will send you the reason. He will let you know. He'll show you little things. It'll be, you'll be minding your business. Somebody talk about your ex or something, and you might find out that maybe they got anger issues or something. You might find out something. It may not be terrible. You might be like, I could have dealt with that, but God don't want you to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows you. You are his child. He loves you so much, and he wants nothing but the best for you. And when you become aligned with him and you become faithful to him, and when you are focused on your purpose, your ministry, whatever the ministry is that God gives you, because don't forget, marriage is a ministry too. So if you're serious about getting married and you feel him telling you that you are ordained for marriage, that is a ministry. Anything that you do for God is a ministry. So he's not going to just give you anybody. You have to accept that. You have to love that about him because he loves you that much. Back to what I was saying. Whatever the reason is, as long as you know that you have prayed about it and you're not just being superficial. I'm just going to make that clear again. You're not being superficial, or you're not on your preference list. Or if you're not a believer and the same thing applies, then you are on the right track. And don't let nobody tell you that you are wrong, because you're the person that's going to live with the person that you decide to marry. That's going to be your life. Yeah, so what, they look good to everybody else, well, let everybody else have them then. Because some people will seem like amazing people to your friends and your family, and they may be to you too. But then there's times behind closed doors, they're distant, they're emotionally manipulative, they're liars, and they may not be really, really terrible things, but it'd be something that you're like, it just don't feel good to me. You know, and you have to think, would you really want your life to be that way? Remember how they are right now. You have to ask yourself, would I be okay if I married this person and nothing ever changed? Think about that and stop focusing just on getting married or just finding that person or finding love, because you should be loving yourself. And you can get love, I'm telling you, you can get love from anywhere. Your kids, your parents, your friends, yourself, God, Jesus. Love is just, he will shower you in love when you're being obedient. But you give it to the wrong person, you link up with them, you marry them, I promise you, it's going to be the worst decision you made in your life. You may make it down that aisle, you may get to have that beautiful wedding, you may get to have that beautiful wife, that handsome husband, you may get all that, but it's only momentarily, because if it's not aligned with God, it's not what God has called for you, and if that person is not aligning with your purpose, you're in trouble. Because how can you be pleasing to God when you're trying to please your spouse and your spouse is not on the same page as you? Be careful. But I love y'all. This video was not to be judgmental of anybody. And it's not to say that you have to feel okay with being single and alone. I get that. Sometimes it do get to you. But when you remember the reason, and when you know that your truth, when you know that you put it in God's hands and you're waiting on God and it just hasn't happened yet, don't blame yourself. Instead, say, I thank you, Father, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'll be patient. But in the meantime, you still can date. You still can make friends. You still can live your life. Life doesn't start after marriage or after you get with somebody. Life starts right now, and let that person meet you along the way while you living your best life. Don't sit around and wait, because when you sit around and you have too much time to think, that's when the wait just seems so much longer than it really actually is. But when you enjoying yourself, you like, wait a minute, hold up, guy, hold on. Who this person? I'm trying to book a cruise. I don't got time to be trying to get to know this person that you trying to tell me that I need to get to know. That's just how God works. Because when he sees you're not focusing on something that he has not called you for yet, and that you're trusting him and you're allowing him to guide you and lead you, that's when he will send your person. Remember what I said. I love y'all, and I pray that y'all are not allowing society to beat you down by being single. There's nothing wrong with it. It may not feel good at times, but it's not a curse. It's actually a blessing, and it hits a lot of strings. So I'm proud of you. If you are being patient and you are waiting on God, you're not rushing into anything, you're not desperate for a relationship, but you are just enjoying your life. And if it happens, you are welcome and you're open to receiving it. But y'all be blessed. God loves y'all. Jesus loves y'all. Trust the process. Trust the process. So one day, like I always say, you'll look back on your single days. If you ain't enjoying it now, you get into a relationship and you end up getting married, you're going to look back on your single time, your singleness, and you're going to be resentful and envious of yourself from back in those times. I miss those days when I could do that. I missed this and I missed that and I should have did this. Do it now, because you don't know how long you got before you meet that person. You could just start getting out there, having fun, spending time with friends, taking yourself out on dates, you know, getting more involved with your church, and then in a month, God sends you your spouse. So, chill. If you are ordained to be married, there's nothing that can stop that but you. Don't connect yourself with people who you know God is telling you no. If he's telling you no, let it go. Leave me a comment in the comment box below. You can let me know what you think. But please be polite and courteous, because someone like myself is reading your messages, and we are not here to be negative or to tear one another down. This is life. We're all learning it, and it's a journey. So be loving, be caring, show respect. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't leave it in my comment box. You can send me an email. And you can tell me there how you feel, and we'll keep the conversation going. Or you can leave me a new topic idea or a testimony. And if you would like for me to share that testimony for you, I will. Just leave it in the subject line that I could share, and I will. And we will keep the conversation going, and we will talk next time. Bye.